Governments keep secrets. People keep secrets from each other and themselves. Some say the meaning of life is a secret. We spend a lifetime trying to find it. Some people claim there's a lot of nothing in between New York and LA, the flyover states. They're missing out on something. Some of those places have a secret. It's like putting something under a microscope. The closer one gets, the more you see what's squirming before your eyes. From orbit, this planet is nothing but a patchwork of blue, white, gray, and brown. Get closer, land masses, then cities appear. Move even closer, and you're stuck in heavy traffic. When I started riding a motorcycle on the back roads to places you won't see on TikTok, a whole other world opened up, a world invisible unless you know how to see it. Listen for it, how to notice the creatures from the camouflage. People with secrets go to remote places. It's easy to be ignored where no one wants to look. The most sensitive military bases are surrounded by lots of nowhere. Under nowhere is a lot of space to dig and bury things and get lost. Deep underground bases do exist. On the surface, some of them even look like abandoned old mines. All of this was way off my radar the day I stopped into Kewl Beans for an iced coffee. Some things dot the land like acne. Chain stores and cookie-cutter franchises are the biggest zits of all. Doesn't matter if a place is remote. If it gets enough traffic, eventually the franchises will find it. While waiting for my coffee, the shop manager showed me a printed photo and asked me if I had seen these people. I recognized two biker brothers named Rood and Nasty. I usually saw them at a cafe in another town, but I shook my head and told them I didn't know them. I never get involved if I don't know what's going on. Some say that's why I never fully get involved in life on this planet. I was still curious about that photo. Was it good or bad that people were looking for Rood and Nasty? An old man saw me taking a second look at the photo. He followed me outside and sat down at my table. He was older than me, which I didn't think was possible. He bypassed introductions and got right into it. Want to know what's going on? I said the obvious. Doesn't everyone? What came next no one could expect. He had names and details no one should know. Do I believe him? Belief is a strong word. Let's just say, from what I've seen, I wouldn't be surprised. It begins with two sisters, Skylar and Maeve. When they were kids, their family was taken hostage overseas. In the nick of time, they were rescued by special forces. One man made the difference in saving their lives. His name is Rood. They've been grateful to him ever since, but he long ago dropped out of sight, got involved in a USAP, Unacknowledged Special Access Program. Rood had a talent for R&D and brought his brother along for the ride. Problem was, both of them always had an independent streak, like doing it their own way. Get them together and the effect is amplified. Plus, Rood isn't too keen in what he saw going on in deep cover projects. He said he retired, but he really went rogue. He never stopped his R&D, and his old bosses don't like being out of the loop on what he's up to. They try to control him, but his brother Nasty is creative in finding ways to slip around their fences. No one's sure how much Skylar and Maeve really know, but somehow they got involved. Skylar started posing as a model with Maeve as her photographer. They travel through barren, remote places, but they're never alone. The dark projects don't believe the model thing. They're sure the sisters are working for Rood, but they can't prove it. So a unit was dispatched to follow them. More than that, intimidate them. If they can't find out what Rood is up to, then at least they're going to disrupt it as best they can. If they can get Rood angry, maybe he'll do something stupid. Meanwhile, Skylar and Maeve are the perfect distraction to keep the soldiers where Rood wants them. Somewhere along the line, Sky and Maeve must have gotten a signal. It was time, but for what? They raced around the desert. They asked locals for directions to nowhere. The sudden activity jolted the troops out of their routine of acting tough, but being little more than voyeurs. Skye burned the pavement on her bike from town to town, always staying at a Bangtail inn. Bangtail is old cowboy slang for a wild horse, especially a Mustang mare. Skye was that Mustang, trolling the troops, teasing their macho confidence as she led them around the desert like they were on a leash. They kept their distance but increased their surveillance. They didn't want to spook her off, but they needed to know where she was going in such a hurry. More than once she wound up at some empty shack or a sign in the sand. Always the sign said, "Nothing." They could chew on that. They could chew on nothing. Somehow she knew how to find these places no one would want to go to. There had to be a reason. At one shack she left a motorcycle helmet inside. Was it a signal? A sign? Maybe, maybe not. Perhaps only one thing she did meant something. But which thing was it? A needle in the haystack. Skye ramped up the game. She enjoyed the tease. She knew somewhere, most people called nowhere, was now full of something. Somewhere Rood and Nasty were taking advantage of the right moment. The secret was unfolding. A window of opportunity was open. She couldn't imagine what was flowing through it. She only was glad she could help out with whatever was going down. There would be rumors. People would make them wild and crazy. They'd have fun telling them to anyone who would listen. That was good. The wilder the better. Rumors would hide the truth. Nasty would see to it. It didn't take long for the troops to call in reinforcements. The time was near. Skye and Maeve's work would be finished. All that was left was to wait for the signal. Little did Skye know that Rood had a surprise for her. A thank you. She knew that's what it was right away. Naturally, it came out of a clear blue sky. The next day she geared up and went out to her bike. There was the signal from Rood. He would be on the road now. She was sure she knew which one. The only question was, could she catch him? She knew she wouldn't, but she was going to have fun trying.